Hello, hello, and welcome to, I don't know why I'm singing it, welcome to day 3 of the wrap-up strategy. I hope you have had a good week. It seems to have whistled round to Wednesday already, but there you go. Oh, there I am. So that means I'm working, so I can mute that and leave that alone, which is great. We've had a good week. I've had some more feedback today, which has been really useful. I've also had some feedback from a couple of people who have struggled slightly to be able to access things in terms of time from their point of view and being able to spend enough time on it, which is something that thinking about it, I should have realised if you are using the free GPT and then you're trying to cram everything in and catch up, you will run out of GPT time, if you like. So I was talking to 2 different people today, actually 2 different ladies, who have tried to do day 1 and day 2 today, and they've run out of space. They've run out of bandwidth on their GPT. So the first thing to say is don't worry about that. It will still be available to you. You can still do it, so you can take your time. The videos will remain on YouTube, so you can access them. You can still fast forward me and slow me down, and the resources that are there for you will still work. So the links that I send out to you will still work. So don't worry about that. And also, if you have any questions or anything you want to ask, I will still be answering those. Of course I will. I'm here to help. So anything along those lines, don't fret, just give me a shout, okay, depending on how long it takes you and what it is and where you're up to and all those things, because life happens. And we know if you have a bendy brain, life can really happen, can't it? You can fall down a hole for a bit, and it takes a little while to pick yourself back up and get going again. So that's absolutely fine. There is space and time for you to do all these things. It's in the space-time continuum. Anyway, tonight I'm going to move on, and then we talk about tonight, so that if you are watching this on replay, I'm not whiffling so much at the beginning, which is always useful. So let me put tonight's slides up for you. There's not a lot of slides tonight because I want to really get on and focus down tonight on what it is, so that by the end of tonight you have a proper tied up plan, if you like, for the next 3 months. So you know where you're aiming, you know what you're doing, and you're not then, as I've said before nearly every night, you're not then going out and thinking, oh, I've got to come back and do that. There might be some little bits you have to finish off because of the ChatGPT thing, but it's not going to take forever, and you know where you're going and you know what you're doing. So tonight is all about the wrap up. This is the wrap up bit of the wrap up strategy. It's the plan at the end of it. So that's what we're concentrating on tonight. That's what we're thinking about, and that's where we're headed. So up to now, very quick recap. If you haven't done day 1 and day 2, you need to go back and do those first. You can't do tonight without having done those first, because each day builds on itself. And what I've said every day so far, and I'll just reiterate again, is if you are using ChatGPT, the best way to do this is to carry on within the same conversation. So once you've opened a conversation or a project or whatever you want to call it in ChatGPT, keep going on that same one. Don't open a new conversation every night. Add on to the bottom of the previous nights, because then it will use what you've already got there to be able to build on and to be able to remember the things that you've already talked about, and to use that information and apply it for the next stage. Okay. So on day 1, we chose your star priorities. That was your little bit of homework at the end of day 1. So I suggested 2, 1 for home, 1 for business. I know some people have chosen 2 business ones as well as a home one. That's absolutely fine. Just don't overload yourself. The whole point of this is to keep it simple. And that first day was looking back at what you've been doing all year and deciding which bits you can just let go, which bits you can just park for now or put to one side until January, that aren't important and won't be the end of the world if you don't get them done. The other thing is the balance, which is we looked at last night, the balance between running a home and running a business, and all the myriad of hats that you wear, the things that you do day in, day out without even thinking about it, and you're constantly juggling. So last night we were talking about trying to balance out that juggle a little bit and simplify things so that you can focus on what's important, but so that you have a list of what you need to have. So by the end of the day 2 training, by the end of last night or whenever you've caught up with it, you had a list of things that you have to do, things that you need to do by Christmas, things that would be nice to get done by Christmas, and things that you can let go till after Christmas. So the bottom pile you can just kind of now forget about. You've made a list, so you know you can come back and revisit in January. You're not going to forget about them. You're not going to just wander off and they're just going to disappear into the fog somewhere. They are there, they're parked safely, but you can now just draw a shade over them and stop worrying about them, stop thinking about them, stop giving them brain power for the next few months. So that list can now be safely parked. We've decided that doesn't need to be looked at. The other 2 lists, the top list, which was the things that we need to have done by Christmas, we'll be looking at much more tonight and focusing in on and planning out how that's going to happen, how realistically that is going to work, how the plan will work in terms of the amount of time you have, the amount of brain power you have, the amount of energy you have, and the amount of other things that you're juggling. So fitting that in a realistic way is what we're looking at tonight. And then you have that little list of nice to do things, which if you find yourself with extra time, if you find yourself that you've got a bit more bandwidth in your brain, you can just pick off that list as well. Okay, but that's the kind of nice things. So that's where we're up to at the start of tonight. By the end of tonight, what we are aiming for is to have the weeks down one side and a list of things that you're going to target each week, so that you know when you get to week 3 you're going to be doing this, when you get to week 6 you're going to be doing this, and you can adjust as you go along, obviously, but you've got it laid out so you can measure how you're getting on and see where you're going next. Your resources that have come out for you today are the same as every other day. So there's a ChatGPT prompt, and there is a printable. There's 2 pages to your printable today. If I just pop that one up on here for the moment, this is the same information as every other day. If you don't want to use AI, if you want to, obviously I've talked about it as ChatGPT the whole week, but if you want to use Gemini or any of the other AI bots, it is completely up to you. But this is here for you if you find making notes much easier than using AI, or if you just want to go and curl up in a corner and use this as prompts and just make your own notes or your own mind map or however works best for you. So that's there. You also have this. We'll come back to that one. Hello. Okay, so the thing I would say tonight, more than any other night, is that the ChatGPT prompt that I have given you is a little more generic in that it's kind of assuming the kind of average of the last couple of nights. Let me explain that a bit more. The prompt says, you can probably see it on there, for example, the first bit says, can you help me design a flexible plan for the final 10 to 11 weeks of the year that brings together my priorities and leaves wiggle room for festive life? Okay, that's great. But one thing I did ask you to look at last night was, when was your definite hard stop for Christmas? When were you going to stop for Christmas? I think if I counted them up right, you could squeeze in 12 weeks between now and Christmas. So you could make this a 12-week plan. But you may decide that you want to take October half term off. You may decide you want to finish a week early at Christmas or 2 weeks early at Christmas. It's completely up to you, obviously. So to start with, the first thing you need to do is when you've cut and pasted this prompt into your AI bot, whatever that is, then you need to decide how many weeks you're asking it to do. There's no point saying to it, can you create a 12-week plan when you've actually, when you count them up, only got 10 weeks that you're actually going to be working, because then you're just going to get more and more stressed because you've got to try and condense it down again. So make sure you've got that right. And I would say underestimate rather than overestimate. So if you think, well, I've probably got 11 weeks, but it might be kind of 10 and a half, because if I stop, because Christmas Day is on I can't remember what day Christmas Day is on. It's a Friday this year. I did it last night, didn't I? But I might finish a bit early, so probably about 10 and a half. Then for the sake of this, say 10, okay? So that you've got it slightly shorter, so that if there's anything else that drops off, you've got a bit of wiggle room, you've got a bit of breathing space. So that's the first thing that you need to change. Once you've done your prompt, you copy it in, make sure that number is correct for you. You need to look at your calendar, your diary, whatever it is, however you in your family set up these things, and put any other important dates in. So, for example, if school half terms are important in your world because you have children or you teach, then that's a really important week to put in. It might be that that's the week that you don't have as much time to spend on your business. So that needs to be taken into account when you're planning, that you will have the children for the whole week, so you will only have a little bit of time. Or it could be, conversely, I've got one lady who at half term, her parents, so the children's grandparents, are taking them away for the week, for holiday. How lovely is that? But it means that actually that week she's got a whole week where she can just focus on her business every day, and she can kind of work 9 to 5, which is unheard of for her. So for her, that week is a real focus week because she can get a lot of work done. There's also things like, the usual school nativity play, school concerts. If you are, I don't know, if you sing in a choir, you might have concerts. You might not know exactly when these things are at the moment, but if you know that you're going to have rehearsals for things coming up, and you're going to have times when you have to be at school at 12 o'clock, so that's a whole half day out, then just allot it within a week and think, okay, in that week I have half a day less, and do it that way. And the other thing that we talked a little bit about last night is about how you work best. So the time of day that you work best, where you work best, whether you need flexibility and you need a bit of buffer space. So if you might have a medical condition, you might get really tired, you might get really bad brain fog, and you don't know when it's going to be worse and when it's not, then that flexibility needs to be allowed for as you go along. Okay. And the last thing that is on the prompt is, what will you feel proud about to get to Christmas? If you now stop and you think about yourself at Christmas, on Christmas Day, having a lovely time with the family, you've eaten, you're absolutely stuffed, the king's on the telly doing his speech, everybody's happy playing with their toys, or grandma's asleep in the chair, and you think, oh, do you know what? I did that this year. I did that, and I'm really proud of myself. What would that be? It could be home and it could be business. It could be both. It could be either and or whichever. But what would you think then if you looked back and thought, oh, yeah, I did that. I thought about this in September and I've worked for it and I've planned it and I've done it. And I'm so proud of myself. I'm so chuffed with myself. what would that thing be, or those things be, depending on how many things you've chosen. Okay, so as per usual, I am going to go and share my screen because I am doing this at the same time as you. So I'm going to go back onto ChatGPT. The last thing I just want to share with you, this is the first page here on the right-hand side. The second page that came out with you today is the wrap-up plan. Now, by the end of tonight, what we're wanting is to have some form of that sheet. So this sheet literally just has the days of the number of weeks down the side, the focus for each week, and then any notes. So basically it's split your activity that you need to do into however many weeks you need to do it. And ChatGPT by the end of tonight will have given you week 1, do this, week 2, do this, week 3, do this, which will mean that by the end of week 10, 11, 12, whatever you're going to have, will be completed. Week 12 completed, it will be done. Okay, so that's what you're aiming for. If you ask it to create your plan, which it should do at the end of the prompt that I've given you anyway, it can do one of two things. It can either give you a document that will copy, I was going to say will give you an Excel document. So if you're an Excel spreadsheet kind of person, which I kind of am, I like an Excel spreadsheet, I have to say, because lots of colours, you can put lots of colours on them. But if that's how you work, you can ask for a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet. It won't give you a spreadsheet in Excel as is. It will give you a link. It will give you a format that you can scroll up and down and have a look, and looks kind of spreadsheety, if you like. But it will give you a download link, and when you download it, it will open into an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so that will be in that format. Or the other thing you can ask it to do is to produce it in a Word document. And again, it will give you a link, you download it, and it will open as a Word document, which literally is just a list. So that would probably say as a heading week 1, and then a list underneath of what's happening, a heading of week 2. That's probably how that would look. So those are the two formats that you can get at the end of tonight to have this broken down. And then obviously you can put it in whatever format suits you. Okay, enough talking from me. Hope all that makes sense. If it doesn't and you're watching this later, come back, wave at me, wiggle at me, shout at me, and we will sort it out. I am going to share my screen as usual. There we go. So I'm now going to look over here on my other screen so that I can see. This is the same conversation that we've had all week. So I'm literally just adding it on to the bottom at here. So this was yesterday's at the bottom here, and it put it into a festive season priority map. So these are my must-dos, nice to do and let go lists. And then last night it suggested that I might want it as a PDF. So into a mind map or a chart, which was a Word document essentially. Neither of them were particularly fancy, but the information was all there. So whatever works for you is fine. So tonight, all I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on with this. It will always ask, it's just worth saying, at the bottom there, you can see the question that says, would you like me to also make a blank version with just 3 columns so that you can reuse it each year? At the end of every conversation you have, at the end of everything you ask it to do, it will always ask if you want to do something else. It will always come up with something else, because the algorithm, I guess, is the algorithm, the way it's set up, the AI is set up. It's just trying to please you. It's just trying to do what you want it to do. So it will always ask if you want more things. Just be a bit wary of that, because it's so easy to fall down a black hole and keep saying, oh yes, thanks, and then it'll produce something else. And then it'll say, would you like me to do this? And you think, oh yes, that'd be great. And you say yes, and then it does something else. And then you suddenly realise that, half an hour has disappeared and it's just produced lots more essentially the same thing, just in different ways. So just be wary of that. It always asks questions at the end of whatever you've done. It's still trying to make you happy. It's still trying to please you, and it's still asking you questions. So just be aware. Okay. So tonight, if I go below here again, below the video, is the Chat GPT prompt. So I'm just going to copy that, and then I'm going to go here and I'm going to paste, and I'm just going to read it through and make sure that what it's asking is applicable for me. So for a start, I've said on here, can you help me design a flexible plan for the final 10 to 11 weeks? I'm just going to say 10 weeks because I've got other things going on. I'm away for a little while. I've got a few other things going on. So I'm going to say 10 weeks because that's probably going to be enough, because then I've got some wiggle room. I've got some breathing space at the end of that I can kind of add into if I need. The areas that I'd like to reflect on, my top, I know I've got 2 priorities, so I'm going to say my top 2 priorities, and I think everything else is the same. So I'm just going to click on go and let it start churning and asking me questions, just the same as we've done every night. So I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to let you do the same thing. Let it churn away on yours, answer the questions. As always, the more information you put in, the more detail you put in, the better the answers will come out. So the more personal, the more specific to you, the answers will come out. Okay, so I'm just going to be quiet now, and I'm going to work through mine so that you can work through yours. If you're watching this on replay, definitely pause me, fast forward me, do whatever you need to do to make it work for you. And I will pop back at probably 22, so 20 minutes. Okay, so if you are wanting to fast forward in time for me to start talking again, probably be about 20 minutes. All right, I will see you soon. Interestingly, sorry, that wasn't very, very long, was it? But interestingly, the first question it's asked are, what are my top 2 focuses, which it hasn't continued through. But I don't know if I actually put those on from last night. So that will be why. So I'm going to go back and add those in now. As ever with AI, just keep adding the information, keep re-requesting things or correcting it, all those things. That's how it learns, that's how it gets better, and that's how what it churns out at the end is better for you. Okay. Okay, how have you got on? As you can see, I've been working the same and have used it to break things down. I've gone back and asked it to do a couple of things and tweak a few things. By the end of mine, it's come back and given me my plan, which is top priorities, weekly flow, and a timeline. The timeline it gave me to start with was from weeks 1 to 6, because I split it slightly in how I was organising it, because I want to take off a week in November. So it gave me weeks 1 to 6, and then weeks 7 to 9, and then the last week, week 10, which is, I'm just going to ask it to do 10 weeks. So I asked it to go back. It asked me if I wanted to create a week by week visual planner, which I do, but I've also said, yes, please, but I'd like it in a weekly format rather than in batches of weeks. So I think that's easier for you to see. So you can always ask it, you can always go back and change things slightly and refine what you've asked it to do. So I asked it to do all the weeks separately, and it's given me a link to download the festive wrap-up plan, which I have. That's what I was just looking at, which I realised you couldn't see. I was just like typing away and you couldn't see anything happening on the screen because I was only sharing this bit. So if I stop screen, hello, and then show you, oh no, that's not it. That's still not it. Share screen is the one I want. And that's what it's created. There we go. So it's created it as, I've had it as a Word document, and it's literally just given me weeks 1, oh, I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. Weeks 1 through to 12. It's still given me 12 weeks here, but it's given me at the end weeks 16 to 22 of December, which I said I didn't want to do, but it's added it in, and it's actually said there are no business tasks in that time. Relax and enjoy family time. So I was just about to say it's done it wrong. It's given me an extra week, but it hasn't, because that week it said no business tasks. So it's put it in as a week before Christmas, but respected the fact that I've asked for nothing to happen. And the other reason that I'd asked for it to do 10 weeks and it's done 12 is because I have a week here, week 7, which again, I'm not doing anything. So it's counted them as weeks so that I know where I'm up to on the calendar, if you like, but it's taken them out of planning for them. So hopefully by the time you finish this activity, you will have something that looks like this. So each of these is fairly broad, but it gives you a focus for what you need to be doing that week. So for me, on that first week in September, I'm going to be focusing on recording and scheduling my first Doodle and Dash videos, getting those recorded. I'm going to be batching content in the afternoons and evenings, and I have a craft fair on the 5th of October, so it means that the Monday, the 7th of October, it will need to be a lighter day for me because I know I'll be really tired because I have an autoimmune issue. So if I have a really full-on day the day before, I'm going to be quite tired the day after. So I'll do something, I'll send emails or I'll do something lighter on that day. So it's planned that in for me. So by the end of tonight, you should have this kind of plan, which is great. Let me come back. There we go. So hopefully that has been really useful and you've got that up to this stage. No matter what format it's in, you've got it up to the stage of having your weeks and some focus of what you're going to be doing in those weeks. Now then, from here, what I would say is this strategy for the 3 days hopefully has given you some clarity. It's given you clarity on what you want to achieve. It's given you clarity on how you're going to fit it in, how you're going to balance it with home and with business. And you can now go from there. This strategy gives you clarity. The Brain Friendly Business Club that I run gives you consistency. That's the consistency. So one of the things we do in my Brain Friendly Business Club, which I would be really lax if I didn't tell you about because of doing all this, is we do a plan along once a month. So at the end of each month, we plan out the next month week by week. Now, this timetable here is the one I use. Lots of people do it in lots of different ways. Some people do it and put it into a Trello board. Some people do it and put it straight into their calendar. Some people write it on a calendar. It completely is what works for you. But what we do is, again, we use ChatGPT to help us to focus it down, and we work around what's going on. So this is actually my September calendar, and you'll see at the beginning of September I've got 2 whole weeks blocked out because I was on holiday. That's the Northumberland flag, in case you're not sure. I was in Northumberland for the first 2 weeks on holiday. So most of the things I did a few things while I was away, kind of keeping up to date with memberships and things. Most of the things are focused in the last 3 weeks of September, which just tips into October at the bottom here. The way I do it is I have the ordinary Monday to Friday and then weekend, just in case there's anything at the weekend that impacts me. And I put things in that I know are going to happen. So, for example, there's a big grey block in the middle there, which says Brighton, which was me driving my daughter down to university. So that was a long day. You'll see the purple stripe at the bottom of 3 days. That's this strategy. So I knew that was happening. And then anything else in. So I've also added in things like a hair appointment and a dentist's appointment. And anything that I need to publish for my membership gets added in here as well. And then at the end, my column is jobs. I've just called it jobs. And these are the things that I need to do for my business each week. I can, if I want to, also add in there the things that I need to do for home each week. So in terms of moving forward from now, what I will do when I plan this for the October and November and December, I will add in my my home target as well. So my 2 top of the Christmas tree star focuses that I've decided on, my priorities will be the ones that go into the jobs. It usually takes us around 40 minutes to have the whole month planned, and it's quite detailed. It's much more detailed. So it takes the wrap-up plan that we've done today, and it takes those maybe 3 things that we're going to do this week, and it breaks those down into smaller steps. So you know what the little steps are to do it, and it makes it much more doable, much more easy to do. The reason I'm telling you about this, particularly tonight, is that normally we do our plan along on a Tuesday afternoon in a very similar way that we've done this. So it's on here, it's on YouTube, and it's recorded. If you are around, some people work, so they can't come at that time. Some people have children, so sometimes they're off school or at home. Some people just don't work very well without fast forwarding somebody on a screen. So you can come along live and work with me, or you can watch the replay and work like that. Different people work different ways. But this week, I'm going to do it tomorrow night instead. So again, at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, here again. If you want to join us, you are more than welcome. You don't have to join the Brain Friendly Business Club to come and join us, but you could come and you can plan out October in a much more focused, much more detailed way from the work that we've done now. You can just come and join us for that evening if you want to. So it's 7 o'clock tomorrow night. If you would like to join us, or if you can't join us but you want to be able to have the replay, just message me, pop me an email, and I will send you the link for that, and you can come and join us for that, or watch it later and work along with it. And then you can see how we break it down even more. And that's the consistency that I'm talking about. So this gives you the clarity. The Brain Friendly Business Club gives you the consistency. I am just going to show you, if I go over here, and let me just put my screen, there we go, share. There we are. This is the Brain Friendly Business Club. This obviously will disappear because this was these 3 nights. But this is the Brain Friendly Business Club website. If you want to go and have a look, you are very, very welcome to go and have a look. There's the website. Very easy, brainfriendlybusinessclub.com. It's £27 a month to join if you do want to join us. This tells you all the things that we do in here. We have a focus every month and we work from there. We have a WhatsApp group where the accountability happens. We don't have Facebook or anything like that, any groups in there. We just have the WhatsApp group and the Wiggle Room, which is our chat room. We have a training once a month, which is about half an hour. I keep it to half an hour so that we can go back and make sure that we can re-watch it. There's a resource pack every month to do with it, a blog post, and the planning session. So that's what you get if you want to join. It's just £27 a month, so feel free to come and join us. If you want to have a look on here, you can read a bit about me if you really want to. That's one of my favourite photos ever. That's me in my favourite place. There's all sorts of things going on. There's the blog, so you can come and read some of the blogs that we've got. They're all there for you to have a look at. So come and join in. Well, I don't know why the September one isn't showing up. That's interesting, isn't it? Let's go home. And then we have a members page, which is password protected. If you are a member, you get to go on here. And there's a little video explaining how to start, how to join the WhatsApp community, and then your monthly pack is here available for you. So the blog post, the training, the resource pack, and the plan along session, which, as I say, will now be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So if you do want to join us, these are all the past ones: August, July, June. We started in June. So if you do want to join us, it would be lovely to have you. You are very welcome. If you have done this strategy with me, as I say, it's £27 a month. But if you have been through this strategy, my offer up to, I think, Sunday night will be my cut-off. If you message me and you want to join, or you just join through the website before then, your second month will be free. So it's £27 a month. You sign up as normal, but your second month will be free. Now, the reason I've done that is when you join something and you're all gung-ho and you want to get going and you want to do things, it's great and you're really keen. And then it kind of tails off a little bit and you think, oh, do I want to do this? Is this really good? Do I want to carry on? So that's why I've done it this way. So your first month is £27. Your second month, absolutely free. You get to stay in. And then your third month, you will go back to your monthly subscription of £27. Okay, so that would mean that you can get the 3 months up to Christmas for just the 2 payments. So it's 3 for the price of 2. So there you go. So if you would like to join us on Thursday for the plan along, feel free. If you would like to come and join the Brain Friendly Business Club, put my teeth in, you are very, very welcome to do that. If you just want to follow me and see what I'm doing, I am over on LinkedIn at Jill Seeley and on Facebook as Jilly Seeley, Gilli Seeley on Facebook. Come and join me, follow me on there, and I will hopefully see you soon. Bye.